Amara Coleman strides through Atlanta's humid downtown, blazer crisp. Unaware, two cops trail her with sneers. Officer Harlan blocks her path, voice sharp, demanding ID, assuming she's trouble. She flashes her FBI badge, calm but firm. Harlan scoffs, slamming her against a brick wall, cuffs glinting. 2 minutes later, sirens scream. Harlan's wrists are bound, face ashen, Amara's badge shining under streetlights. Onlookers murmur, stunned, but Harlan's cold stare promises trouble. What sparked this clash, and what's brewing for Amara? Before diving in, let me know where you're watching from. If you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe because tomorrow's episode is one you won't want to miss. Amara Coleman's boots echoed on the cracked pavement of Atlanta's downtown, the morning sun already baking the city at 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Her mind churned, replaying the street clash from yesterday, where Lieutenant Derek Harlan had pinned her against a graffiti-stained wall, his breath hot with contempt, assuming she was some petty thief. Her FBI badge had flipped the script, landing him in cuffs, but his parting glare lingered like a storm cloud. She shook it off, focusing on the day ahead. At 32, Amara had clawed her way into the FBI's elite task force, cracking cases that others dodged. Today she was spearheading a sting on a trafficking ring funneling drugs through Georgia's ports, a case that could make her career. Her phone buzzed with a text from her partner, Agent Ruiz. "Meet at the docks by noon. Stay sharp." She nodded to herself, adjusting her blazer, the weight of her holster grounding her. The precinct loomed ahead, a squat building of faded brick, its flag snapping in the humid breeze. She had one stop to make before the operation. Harlan's stunt couldn't go unanswered. Inside, the air was stale, thick with coffee and tension. Officers glanced her way, some nodding, others narrowing their eyes. Amara strode to the desk. "Sergeant," a wiry man named Phelps, and slid a formal complaint across the counter. "Lieutenant Harlan assaulted me yesterday. Racial profiling, excessive force, I want this on record." Her voice was steel, each word deliberate. Phelps skimmed the form, lips twitching, then stamped it with a thud. "It'll be processed." "Agent Coleman, takes time, you know." She held his gaze, catching the flicker of unease. "Make it quick," she said, turning on her heel. As she passed the bullpen, a stocky officer, Harlan's partner Tate, leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Heard you're stirring trouble, Coleman. Harlan's got friends. Watch your step." His tone dripped with warning, but Amara didn't flinch. "Tell him to watch his," she shot back, pushing through the glass doors into the sticky morning. By 11, she was back in her routine, staking out the docks from an unmarked sedan, binoculars trained on a rusted freighter. Ruiz, a lanky man with a quick grin, sat shotgun tapping his knee. "Harlan's a hothead, Amara. You sure about that complaint?" She kept her eyes on the ship. "He doesn't get a pass for putting hands on me. Nobody does." Ruiz sighed but didn't press. Their radio crackled. Suspects were moving. Adrenaline surged, and for a moment Harlan faded. The sting went clean. 3 arrests, 200 pounds of contraband seized. Amara cuffed the ringleader herself, his curses bouncing off her calm. Back at headquarters, she was riding high, typing up the report, when her phone pinged. A colleague had sent a photo. Her car, parked 2 blocks away, its hood spray-painted with jagged slurs, ugly words in white that burned her eyes. The tires were slashed, rubber sagging like dead. "Wait." Her jaw tightened, pulse spiking. She grabbed her keys and ran out, the humid air hitting her like a slap. The lot was quiet, save for a distant siren. Amara circled her car, a black SUV she'd bought with her first FBI paycheck. The paint dripped, still wet, the stench sharp. "Worthless," one word read, another too vile to linger on. She snapped photos, hands steady despite the rage coiling in her chest. A homeless man shuffled by, muttering about cops cruising earlier. She pressed him, but he clammed up, eyes darting. Back at her desk, she filed a vandalism report, knowing it'd go nowhere. Ruiz hovered, concern creasing his brow. "This is retaliation, Amara. Harlan's crew, maybe." She nodded, lips tight. "Let them try, I'm not backing down." But the day wasn't done with her. Logging into her work email, she found a notification, a video link flagged by the FBI's cyber unit. The subject read, Agent Coleman's street assault. Her stomach dropped. Clicking play. It was footage from yesterday, grainy but clear, shot from a bystander's phone. There she was, badge out, voice sharp as Harlan loomed over her. But the edit was vicious, spliced to show her shoving him first, her words twisted to sound threatening. The final frame froze on her face, badge blurred, captioned, FBI agent attacks cop. It was uploaded to a local news site, racking up thousands of views by the minute. Comments poured in, venomous and raw. She's a thug with a badge, one read. Fire her, another demanded, laced with slurs that matched her car's scars. Amara's throat tightened, but she scrolled on, each word a jab. The video spread to social media, hashtags trending. Chew justice for Harlan, chew bad cop Coleman. Her phone lit up, unknown numbers, voicemails hissing threats. We know where you live, one growled. She muted it, heart hammering, and called the cyber unit. Trace this now, she ordered, but the tech sighed. It's a burner account, tough. 2-pin. She leaned back, staring at the ceiling tiles, the hum of the office fading. This wasn't just Harlan, it was a machine grinding her down. She opened her laptop, digging into his file. 15 years on the force, commendations galore, but whispers of brutality dogged him. A name popped up. Victor Klein, a city councilman who'd backed Harlan's promotions. Her gut twisted. Klein was a power broker, old money, older grudges. She cross-referenced their records, finding Klein's name on a charity Harlan chaired. Too cozy. She bookmarked it, mind-racing. If Harlan had a leash, Klein might hold it. She was about to dig deeper when her desk phone rang, the caller ID, flashing her supervisor, Special Agent Monroe. His voice was clipped, no warmth. Coleman, my office. Now. Monroe's office was all glass and steel, a corner suite overlooking the city's smoggy sprawl. He didn't invite her to sit. Your complaint against Harlan, he began, tossing her form onto his desk. It's been reviewed. Insufficient evidence to proceed. Amara's blood ran cold. Insufficient? He assaulted me, sir. There's video, before it was doctored. Monroe's eyes flicked to his monitor, avoiding hers. The precinct's handling it. Drop it, Amara. Focus on your case. She leaned forward, voice low. This is a cover-up. Harlan's connected, isn't he? Monroe's jaw tightened. You're out of line. Get back to work. She stood, every nerve screaming defiance, but she nodded, exiting with a calm she didn't feel. Back at her desk, she checked her phone. Another alert. Harlan was back on duty, spotted patrolling Midtown, grinning for cameras like nothing happened. The news clip showed him shaking hands with locals, a hero wronged. Amara's fingers curled into fists, nails biting her palms. The vandalism, the video, now this. Each hit landed harder, aimed at her race, her badge, her existence. She thought of her mother, who'd marched in Selma, warning her, "They'll smile while they stab you, baby." Amara had laughed it. Off then, young and cocky. Now staring at Harlan's smug face on screen, she felt the knife, but she wasn't done. Klein's name burned in her mind, a lead, a thread. She'd pull it, no matter the cost. The city might be turning, but Coleman didn't break. Amara Coleman's breath fogged the window of her rental car, parked under a flickering street lamp in Atlanta's grittier edge, where neon signs buzzed like trapped flies. The humid night clung to her skin, 80 degrees Fahrenheit despite. The late hour, her pulse steady but sharp. Harlan's smug face from the news looped in her mind, back on duty, untouched, while her complaint molded in some precinct drawer. The slurs on her SUV, the doctored video branding her a thug, the threats piling up, they weren't random. This was a war, and she was done playing defense. Her trafficking case could wait. Tonight, she hunted answers. Her laptop glowed on. The passenger seat. Klein's name flagged in her notes. Victor Klein, city councilman, Harlan's shadow backer. If she could link them, she'd unravel Harlan's armor. A tip from a dock informant had pointed her here. A dive bar called Rusty Anchor, where Harlan supposedly met big shots after hours. Amara adjusted her cap, tucking her braids beneath, and slipped out, blending into the shadows. The bar's door creaked, spilling cigarette smoke and bass-heavy music. Inside it was a haze of dim lights and sticky tables, patrons hunched over cheap whiskey. Amara slid into a corner booth, eyes scanning. Harlan was there, near the back, his broad frame unmistakable, leaning close to a man in a tailored suit. Klein, no doubt, his silver hair catching the light. She pulled out her phone, angling it discreetly, hitting record. Their voices were low, but her app amplified the audio. "She's a problem, Derek," Klein hissed, fingers drumming a glass. "That badge doesn't scare me. Bury her." Harlan's laugh was cold. "Already in motion, Vic. She'll wish she stayed quiet." Amara's chest tightened, but she held steady, capturing every word. Klein slid an envelope across the table. Harlan pocketed it without a glance. Payoff, she thought, her mind racing. This was the thread, corruption, raw and undeniable. She stopped recording, heart pounding with the thrill of a strike. If she got this to the right hands, Harlan's leash would snap. She eased out, the night air a relief after the bar's stink. Back in her car, she uploaded the clip to a secure drive, then called Agent Ruiz, her voice low. "I've got something big. Harlan and Klein caught dirty. Meet me at headquarters in 30. Ruiz hesitated, his tone uneasy. "Amara, you're playing with fire. Be careful." She brushed it off, adrenaline buzzing. "Just be there." The drive to the FBI's Atlanta field office was a blur, city lights streaking past. She gripped the wheel, imagining Harlan's face when this hit. Him cuffed again, for real this time. At her desk, she copied the file to a USB, labeling it Anchor Proof. Ruiz arrived, his eyes darting as she handed it over. "This stays between us until I say," she warned. He nodded, slipping the drive into his pocket. "I've got your back, Amara." She believed him, the weight of the day lifting. Klein's words echoed, "Bury her," but she just dug their grave instead, or so she thought. Dawn broke, pink and hazy, as Amara pulled into her apartment complex, a modest brick building off Peachtree. She was halfway to her door when she froze. The lock was scratched, the frame splintered. Her gun was out in a heartbeat, senses screaming. She nudged. The door opened, stepping into chaos, drawers yanked out, papers strewn, her laptop gone. Her trafficking case files, her notes on Klein, all missing. On the coffee table, a folded note sat, black ink stark. "Back off, or worse." Her breath caught, rage mixing with dread. She swept the place, finding no one, but the violation. Burned? Someone had been here, tearing through her life. Harlan? Klein? She called Ruiz, but he didn't pick up. Her gut twisted. He had the USB, her only copy now. She sank onto the couch, the note crumpling in her fist. This wasn't a warning. It was a declaration. By noon, she was back at headquarters, eyes bloodshot, but focused. Ruiz was at his desk, avoiding her gaze. "Where's the drive?" she demanded, voice low. He mumbled about misplacing it, his hands fidgeting. "Misplaced?" she snapped, drawing stares. Before he could answer, her phone buzzed, an email from Internal Affairs. Subject, Investigation into Agent Coleman. She opened it, blood draining from her face. They were probing her for excessive force in the street incident, citing the doctored video, now corroborated by anonymous tips. Her complaint against Harlan wasn't mentioned. It was like it never existed. She stormed to Monroe's office, but he was out. The secretary shrugged. IA handled it now. Back in the bullpen, she caught a glimpse of Harlan himself, strutting past the building's entrance, his uniform crisp, a smirk curling his lips. He met her eyes through the glass, raising a mock salute, untouchable. Amara's hands shook as she sat, the office's hum fading to static. The break-in, the lost evidence, now this. Each hit was surgical, aimed at her core. She opened her email again, digging for Klein's profile. His bio bragged about cleaning up Atlanta, but his donor list screamed influence, cops, judges, even feds. Ruiz's dodge replayed in her mind. Had he flipped? No, she couldn't believe it yet. But Harlan's salute burned, him walking free while she was cornered. The video's lies, the slurs on her car, the note's threat. They were pieces of a machine grinding her down because she dared flash a badge while black. Her mother's voice echoed, They'll never let you win easy. Easy? This was her gauntlet, and Amara was bleeding. She pulled up a blank file, typing Klein's name, her fingers fierce. If they wanted a fight, she'd bring one. But how deep did this trap go, and who was pulling the strings? What do you think? Should Amara keep pushing, knowing the system's stacked against her? Drop a comment with number 1 if you're rooting for her to fight back, and don't forget to like and subscribe to catch the next twist in her battle. Can she trust anyone when even her allies waver? If you're angry at Harlan's smugness, smash that like button and join the ride. How far will Amara go to expose the truth? Comment number 1 if you think she's got the guts to take on Klein, and subscribe to find out. Now, with her evidence gone and Harlan closing in, what's her next move? Amara Coleman's fingers hovered over her keyboard, the dim glow of her motel room's lamp, casting jagged shadows across the peeling wallpaper. Atlanta's skyline flickered through the blinds, 90 degrees Fahrenheit even at midnight, the city restless as her mind. The break-in at her apartment still stung, her files stolen, that note's threat, back off or worse, burned into her memory. Harlan's mocking salute outside headquarters, the internal affairs probe pinning her for excessive force. Ruiz's dodge with her evidence. It was a noose, tightening because she was a black woman with a badge who dared fight back. But Amara didn't bend. She'd spent the day off-grid, using a burner laptop to dig into Victor Klein, the councilman tied to Harlan's corruption. Her trafficking case was on hold. This was personal now. She'd found a chink in Klein's armor, a private email server, sloppy security. If she could crack it, she might expose them both. Her pulse quickened as she launched a hacking script, lines of code dancing across the screen. This was reckless, but waiting wasn't an option. The script pinged after an hour, a breach confirmed. Amara leaned in, sweat beading on her brow as Klein's emails loaded. Most were mundane, fundraisers, city budgets, but one thread caught her eye, tagged Harlan issue. She clicked, scanning fast. Klein had wired $20,000 to an offshore account with instructions to neutralize Coleman's credibility. Another email listed payoffs to Harlan's unit, dates matching her street clash. Her breath hitched. This was dynamite, proof Klein was bankrolling Harlan to crush her. She saved screenshots, heart racing, imagining the fallout. Harlan in cuffs again, Klein's smirk wiped clean, but she needed reach, someone outside the FBI's tainted chain. Her mind flicked to Maya Chen, a journalist she'd met during a case last year. Maya was fearless, with a platform that could amplify this to millions. Amara drafted an anonymous email, attaching the files, and hit send. "Publish this," she typed. "They're burying me." Sleep didn't come that night. By dawn, Amara was back at a diner across town, sipping burnt coffee, her burner phone buzzing. Maya had replied, "This is huge. Need to verify, but I'm in." Amara exhaled, a spark of hope flaring. She kept moving, switching motels, eyes scanning for tails. At noon, her phone lit up, a news alert. Maya's outlet had dropped the story, headlined, "Councilman Klein tied to police corruption." The article detailed the emails, naming Harlan's unit with screenshots blurred but damning. Social media exploded, hashtags like "Russ Klein cover-up" trending. Amara watched from a library computer, heart pounding as clips showed crowds outside City Hall chanting for justice. Harlan's face flashed on screen, suspended pending investigation, his jaw tight. Klein issued a denial, but it sounded hollow. Protesters held signs with Amara's name, calling her a hero. She smiled, the weight lifting. For the first time, since Harlan's cuffs clicked on the street, she felt ahead, like she'd landed a real blow. The high lasted hours. Amara walked through a park, blending with joggers, the late afternoon sun warm at 82 degrees. Her burner rang, Maya, voice urgent. "Stories gaining traction, feds are sniffing around Klein. Stay safe, okay?" Amara nodded, promising to lie low. She was halfway to her new motel, cutting through an alley, when tires screeched behind her. A black van skidded to a stop, doors flying open. 3 masked men spilled out, ski masks dark against the dusk. Her hand went for her gun, but a gloved fist slammed her shoulder, knocking her against a dumpster. Pain flared, but she kicked out, catching one in the knee. Gunshots cracked, not at her, into the air, warnings. She froze, outnumbered, as a voice rasped, "You're done, Coleman!" They vanished as fast as they came, tires burning rubber. Amara staggered upright, breath ragged, her blazer torn. Her gun was still holstered, but her confidence wasn't. She stumbled to the motel, locking the door, hands shaking as she checked her phone. Another call came, unknown number. She answered, wary. "You think you hurt us?" A man's voice growled, low and deliberate. "Watch your back." The line went dead. Amara's throat tightened, the alley attack replaying, Harlan's men or Klein's. She flipped on the TV, hoping for good news, but her stomach dropped. Maya's outlet had issued a retraction, the anchor's voice flat. "Due to unverified sources, our report on Councilman Klein is under review." The article was gone, links dead. Social media turned vicious, posts accusing Maya of fabricating lies, some dragging Amara's name. "Coleman's behind this, another fake victim." The protest clips vanished, replaced by Klein's press conference, him vowing to restore trust. Amara sank onto the bed, the room spinning. Her win. Those emails, the suspension was unraveling and the city was swallowing the lie. She opened her laptop, checking the burner email. Maya had messaged, "They got to us, threats, legal pressure, I'm sorry." Amara's fists clenched, nails biting her palms. Klein's reach was a hydra. Cut one head, two grew back. The alley ambush wasn't random. It was a message timed with the retraction to gut her momentum. She thought of her mother's stories, how the system chewed up fighters like her, spitting out bones. The slurs on her car, the doctored video, her stolen files, now this. Each hit aimed at her race, her defiance, daring her to quit. But Amara's eyes burned, not with tears but fury. She replayed the alley in her mind, those shots, that voice on the phone. Harlan was suspended, but not cuffed. Klein was shaken, but standing. They thought she'd break. They were wrong. She grabbed her burner, texting Ruiz, demanding answers about the lost USB, no reply. Her jaw tightened. She'd go bigger, riskier. If Klein wanted war, she'd bring fire. Amara Coleman crouched in the shadows of a derelict warehouse lot, the Atlanta night thick with humidity, 81 degrees Fahrenheit, the air heavy with oil and rust. Her torn blazer from the alley attack hung loose, her shoulder still throbbing, where that masked fist had struck. The retracted news story, Klein's smug press conference, the threatening call, each blow landed harder, carving into her because she was a black woman who dared expose their rot. Harlan's suspension was a mirage, Klein's denial a slap, and Maya's cowed retraction had left Amara's victory in ashes. She'd texted Ruiz again, no reply, his silence gnawing at her trust. But she wasn't broken. Her trafficking case sat untouched. This fight was her life now. A tip from a street contact had led her here. Harlan was meeting someone at this warehouse off the books. If she could catch him dirty again, she'd rebuild what Klein torched. Her burner phone was ready, her gun holstered, her resolve iron. She slipped closer, gravel crunching softly under her boots. The warehouse loomed, its broken windows like empty eyes. Amara pressed against a rusted wall, peering through a crack. Inside, under flickering fluorescence, Harlan stood with two men, their voices low. One was wiry, inked with cartel tattoos, the other a suit with Klein's sleek polish. "Harlan's," Growl carried. "Coleman's done. Plant the drugs, leak it, she'll rot in a cell." The suit nodded, handing over a duffel. Amara's blood ran cold. Drugs, enough to frame her for trafficking, her career's death sentence. Her phone recorded, capturing Harlan's smirk, the bag's weight. This was bigger than bribes. They were crafting a lie to bury her forever. She steadied her breath, adrenaline sharp, knowing this clip could end them. But the cartel man's eyes flicked toward her, sensing something. She ducked, heart hammering, and crept back, slipping into the night before they could spot her. Safe in her motel, a dive off Interstate 85 with stained carpets and a buzzing neon sign, Amara played the footage, her hands trembling with rage and hope. Harlan's words looped. She'll rot. Not today, she thought. She needed an ally, someone inside the FBI to move this fast. Ruiz was her only shot, despite his ghosting. She called, voice low, urgent. "Meet me now. I've got Harlan. On tape, planning to frame me. You're either with me or not." Ruiz's pause was long, his sigh heavy. "Okay, Amara. Coffee shop, 1 hour." She arrived first, scoping the place. Empty booths, a sleepy barista, the air thick with espresso, and 80-degree heat. Ruiz slid in, eyes darting, his usual grin gone. She showed him the clip, his face paling as Harlan's voice filled the space. "This is enough to burn him," she said. "Take it to Monroe. Get protection for me." Ruiz nodded, pocketing her phone. "I'll handle it. Stay low." She watched him leave, a flicker of relief sparking. Maybe she wasn't alone. Dawn broke, grey and muggy, as Amara lay low in a new hideout, a friend's attic with creaking boards and a single bulb. She waited for news, her burner silent. By noon, her hope cracked. A text from a colleague buzzed, "FBI raid at headquarters, your desk." Her stomach plummeted. She called Ruiz, no answer. Switching on a grainy TV, she caught a breaking report. FBI agent Amara Coleman, under investigation for leaking classified data. Her photo flashed, the street clash video replayed, now tied to security breaches. The anchor's voice was cold. "Sources say Coleman's actions endangered operations." Amara's knees buckled, the attic closing in. Classified data. She'd shared nothing but Harlan's crimes. Her mind raced to Ruiz, his dodge, his hands on her phone. She dialed again, voicemail. Then it hit her, his eyes avoiding hers, his nervous tick. He'd sold her out. She forced herself to move, grabbing her bag, checking the burner for updates. Social media was a storm, her name trending with venom. "Traitor Coleman. Lock her up." Slurs peppered the posts, each one a knife, slicing. Because of her race, her badge, her fight, she checked her email, finding an internal affairs summons, accusing her of tampering with evidence, citing the lost USB from the bar. Her complaint against Harlan was buried, her warehouse clip gone with Ruiz. She was a target now, not just of Harlan's crew, but her own agency. Her mother's voice echoed, "They'll turn your people against you." Amara had scoffed once, trusting her badge. Now with Ruiz's betrayal, she felt the sting. She slipped out, catching a bus to nowhere, the city blurring past. Harlan's plan was rolling, drugs, leaks, lies, all to paint her as the criminal. By dusk, she was at a payphone, the lot empty save for a stray dog. She called Monroe, her supervisor, voice steady despite the dread. "Sir, I'm being framed. Harlan's planting drugs. Ruiz turned on me. I need protection." "Monroe's?" Reply was ice. "Turn yourself in, Coleman. You're making it worse." He hung up. Amara gripped the receiver, the world tilting. Then, through the dusk, she saw him. Harlan, cruising past in an unmarked car, his smirk clear even at 50 yards. He didn't stop, didn't need to. His message was in the news, the raid, her isolation. She was cornered, her allies flipped, her badge a noose. The warehouse clip, her one shot, was dust, and Harlan was laughing. Her fingers curled, nails biting her palms. They thought they'd won, that she'd crawl away. But Amara Coleman didn't. Break. She burned. She'd find another way, risk everything, because this wasn't just her fight anymore. Is Amara right to keep fighting when even her allies betray her? Comment number 1. If you think she's got the heart to take on Harlan's machine, then hit like and subscribe to see her next move. Should she trust anyone after Ruiz's stab? Drop a number 1 in the comments if you're raging at his betrayal, and smash that like button to stay in the fight. Can she outsmart a system built to crush her? Comment number 1 if you believe. She'll rise and subscribe to catch the fire she's bringing. With Harlan's trap snapping shut, how will Amara strike back? Amara Coleman's breath rasped in the humid Atlanta night, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, as she crouched behind a dumpster in a Buckhead alley, the stench of rotting trash sharp in her lungs. Harlan's smirk from that unmarked car still seared. Her mind, a taunt after Ruiz's betrayal, had gutted her. The FBI raid, the data leak lies, her face plastered as a traitor. It was a machine, grinding her down because she was black, a woman, a threat. Her badge felt like a curse now, her trafficking case a distant memory. She was a ghost dodging feds and Harlan's crew, her only ally a burner phone with no bars. But Amara didn't break. Ruiz had sold her warehouse clip. But she'd heard. Harlan's plan, drugs to frame her, a lie to lock her away. She needed proof, something undeniable, and there was one place left to look. Harlan's own turf. His condo, upscale, guarded, was a risk no sane agent would take. Amara wasn't sane tonight. She was fire. She'd scoped the place for hours. A sleek tower off Peachtree, all glass and wealth. Security was tight. Cameras, a doorman. But she'd watched Harlan leave, headed to a precinct gala. Her window was narrow. Dressed in a stolen maintenance jumpsuit, cap low, she slipped past the lobby with a fake work order, heart pounding as the doorman barely glanced up. The elevator hummed, carrying her to the 15th floor. Harlan's door was reinforced, but she'd learned lockpicking in Quantico, a skill she never thought she'd use like this. The tumblers clicked and she was in, the condo dark save for city lights glinting through floor-to-ceiling windows. It smelled of leather and bourbon. A cop's salary stretched too far. She moved fast, gloved hands rifling drawers, finding nothing but bills and ammo. Her pulse spiked. Time was bleeding. Then, under a false panel in his desk, she hit gold. A ledger, handwritten, listing cartel payments, dates and names. Klein's. Included. One entry circled, Coleman set up 10 kilos, precinct drop. Her blood sang. This was it. The frame, the proof. Amara snapped photos, hands steady despite the adrenaline. She tucked the ledger back, knowing physical evidence could vanish like her USB. Her burner buzzed. Maya Chen, the journalist, texting. Got your last tip. Burned, but I owe you. Send something solid. Amara hesitated, then uploaded the photos, typing fast. Harlan's ledger, cartel ties, my frame-up. Publish now. She hit send, slipping out as a distant siren wailed. The condo tower faded behind her, the city's pulse matching hers. By dawn, she was at a new hideout, a basement safe house lent by a cousin, its concrete walls damp and cool. She checked Maya's outlet. Nothing yet. Her stomach knotted, but she waited, sipping stale water. The ledger's pages burned into her mind. Harlan's gala would end soon. He'd know she'd been there. She braced for the blowback. Gun on. The table, every creak a threat. At noon, her burner lit up, a news alert. Maya's story had dropped. Headlined, Police Lieutenant's Cartel Ledger Exposed. The article quoted the photos, detailing Harlan's payoffs, the 10-kilo setup, Klein's shadow. Social media erupted. Hashtags like Harlan Exposed trending. Protests flaring outside the precinct. Clips showed Harlan dragged from the gala, cuffs snapping on, his face a mask of fury. Amara's chest loosened, a grin breaking through. Crowds chanted for justice, some naming her, the agent who wouldn't. Quit. She leaned back, the basement's chill easing, imagining Harlan's cell, Klein's panic. Maya texted, You did it. Feds are moving on him. Amara exhaled, feeling the tide turn. She'd gone rogue, risked it all, and won. For a moment she believed it. The moment shattered at dusk. Amara was grabbing food from a corner store. Cap low when her burner rang, an unknown number. She ignored it, but it rang again. Against her gut she answered. A voice, low and accented, hissed, You leaked our books, puta. Her blood froze. Cartel. Before she could speak, engines roared outside. She dropped the phone, sprinting to the safe house, but it was too late. Black SUVs blocked the street, men piling out, automatic rifles glinting. She dove through a back window, glass cutting her palms as gunfire tore through the walls. Bullets, whined, splintering wood, her cousin's screams echoing from upstairs. Amara ran, legs burning, through alleys and lots, until the shots faded. Gasping, she checked her burner, dead, crushed in the chaos. Blood dripped from her hands, her heart, a drum. The cartel knew her name, her moves. Hiding in a storm drain, the air damp and sour, Amara pieced it together. The ledger had burned Harlan, but it named cartel players too. Her leak had poked a beast. Worse, a new alert hit her backup phone, another video, this one doctored to show her planting the ledger in Harlan's condo. Her face clear, time-stamped yesterday. The headline screamed, FBI agent fakes evidence in Harlan scandal. Comments piled up, vicious, laced with slurs. She's a fraud. Lock the liar up. Her breath caught, the drain's walls closing in. Maya's story held, but this video was spreading faster, twisting her win into a lie. Harlan was cuffed, but his allies weren't. They'd spun her strike into a noose, and the cartel was their fist. She thought of her mother, warning her, "They'll make you the villain." Now, bloodied and hunted, Amara felt it. But her eyes hardened, her grip tightening on her gun. They wanted her to run, she'd fight instead. Amara Coleman's boots splashed through puddles in a derelict Atlanta alley. The night air thick at 78 degrees Fahrenheit, her bloodied hands stinging from glass cuts sustained in the cartel's safehouse assault. The doctored video, accusing her of planting Harlan's ledger, looped in her mind, its lies branding her a fraud across every screen, twisting her race into a weapon. Harlan's cuffs from Maya's story were a hollow win. His allies had unleashed hell, cartel. Bullets tearing through her cousin's home. Her name now a curse online. She was a fugitive. No badge, no allies. The FBI's traitor label chaining her to shadows. Her trafficking case was dust. Survival was all now. But Amara burned, not broke. The video's source was her last thread. If she could trace it, she'd expose Klein's machine, Harlan's puppeteer. She needed help, someone off the grid. Jaden, a hacker she'd met during a cybercrime bust, was her shot. She clutched her backup burner, praying he'd answer. Jaden's hideout was a basement in East Atlanta, accessed through a laundromat's back door. The air was cool, 65 degrees, smelling of solder and stale pizza. Jaden, lean with dreads, and a skeptical squint, tapped his laptop as Amara explained. Harlan's frame, the cartel hit, the video smear. "Heavy," he muttered, cracking his knuckles. "But I'm in, that clip's got digital fingerprints." They worked through the night, Jaden's screens glowing with code, Amara pacing, her cuts bandaged but raw. By dawn, he had a hit, the video traced to a server tied to Klein's campaign office, metadata showing edits hours before the leak. "This is gold," Jaden said, copying the proof. Amara's pulse surged. This could clear her name. Burn Klein for good. She envisioned Harlan's smirk fading, the city waking up. But Jaden's brow furrowed. "Server's got layers, Amara. Klein's got feds on payroll. You leak this, they'll hit harder." She nodded, undeterred, and sent the data to Maya, urging a quiet release. "No fanfare, just facts," she texted. Maya agreed, promising a low-key post. Amara crashed on Jaden's couch, the first sleep in days, dreaming of justice. At noon, her burner buzzed, a news alert. Maya's outlet had published, "Video framing FBI agent linked to Councilman Klein." The article quoted Jaden's findings, sparking outrage online. Hashtags like Dacha Free Coleman trended, protests swelling outside Klein's office. Clips showed police hauling Harlan back to jail, his suspension now a full arrest, charged with evidence tampering. Amara's chest loosened, a rare smile breaking. Jaden high-fived her, his grin wide. "You flipped it, Coleman." The basement felt alive, victory close. She was no fugitive now, but a fighter, her name rising from the ashes. The high crashed by dusk. Amara stepped out for air, the laundromat's hum fading when sirens screamed nearby. Her instincts flared. She sprinted back, kicking the basement door open. Jaden was gone, his laptop smashed, blood smearing the floor. Her heart stopped. A TV flickered, showing a live feed. Fugitive agent Coleman spotted, armed and dangerous. Her face flashed, the video smear replayed, now tied to new evidence of her attacking cops. She bolted, grabbing Jaden's backup drive as tires screeched outside. Police megaphones blared, "Coleman, surrender." She dove through a back exit, legs burning as boots pounded behind. Gunshots cracked, grazing her arm, pain searing but not slowing her. She zigzagged through alleys, losing them in the maze, collapsing in a vacant lot, breath ragged, blood soaking her sleeve. Panting, she checked her burner. News updates flooded in. The article was buried, drowned by the manhunt. Social media. Turned brutal. Coleman's a cop killer. End her. Slurs stung, each one a jab at her blackness, her defiance. A breaking report claimed she'd injured an officer during the raid, a lie rooted in the blood on Jaden's floor. Her mind raced. Where was he? Dead? Taken? Then she saw it, a live clip. Harlan, freed on bail, addressing reporters, his voice calm, venomous. Coleman's a menace. I warned everyone. He paused, staring into the camera, daring her. Amara's fists clenched, nails digging into her palms. The server proof her one shot was worthless now. She was hunted, vilified, alone. Klein's machine had spun her win into a death warrant, and Harlan was its face. She hid in a condemned building, its air dank, 60 degrees, rats skittering in the dark. Her arm throbbed, makeshift bandages soaked red. The drive in her pocket held Jaden's data, but leaking it now would only fuel the manhunt. Her mother's words haunted her. They'll break your heart before your body. Harlan's arrest had felt like justice, but his bail, Jaden's blood, her fugitive brand, it was all a game rigged because she dared fight while black. She thought of her cousin, her safe house in ruins, her badge a lie. But Amara's eyes burned, not with despair but fury. They wanted her to quit, to vanish. She'd carve a path instead, whatever the cost. Klein's server was just the start. She'd find Jaden, expose them all, or die trying. Is Amara's fight worth the cost? When the system hunts her like a criminal? Comment number 1 if you're cheering for her to keep swinging. Then hit like and subscribe to see her claw back. Should she risk everything for Jaden after all she's lost? Drop a number 1 in the comments if Harlan's smugness boils your blood, and smash that like button to stay locked in. Can she outrun a manhunt built to break her? Comment number 1 if you believe she's tougher than their lies, and subscribe to catch her next strike. With Jaden gone and Harlan taunting, what's Amara's next play? Amara Coleman's breath steamed in the chilly dawn, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. As she slipped through Atlanta's back streets, her arm throbbing under blood-soaked bandages from the police raid that had cost her Jaden. The city's manhunt branded her a cop killer, her face black, defiant, plastered on every screen, twisted by lies that fueled slurs and hate. Harlan's taunting grin on TV, freed on bail, burned her soul. Klein's machine had turned her server proof into a noose, her fugitive status a cage. Her badge was a ghost, her trafficking case forgotten. But Amara's heart beat fire, not fear. Jaden's blood demanded justice, and Klein's server was just a start. She needed an edge, someone who knew Klein's dirt and could fight dirty. Jaden's last text had named a contact, Lena, ex-FBI, now underground. Amara clutched her burner. Its battery low and headed for a safe house Lena might haunt, praying for a lifeline. The safe house was a boarded-up church in Vine City, its steeple sagging under years of neglect. Amara knocked a code Jaden had shared, the door creaking to reveal Lena, 40, wiry, eyes like steel. The air inside was damp, 55 degrees, smelling of mold and candle wax. Amara spilled everything. Harlan's frame, the cartel hit, Jaden's smash and grab. Lena listened, her face unreadable, then leaned forward. I left the bureau. When Klein's pals leaned on me. Got dirt on his network, servers, payoffs, feds on take. Amara's pulse quickened. Can you access it? Lena nodded, pulling a rugged laptop. They hacked through the night, screens flickering in the dim church, unearthing Klein's private server. One file stood out, orders to fabricate Amara's video signed by Klein's aide, time-stamped before the smear hit. Another listed Harlan's unit as assets for a cartel sting. Amara's fists clenched. This was dynamite, enough to bury them both. Lena's voice cut through. This goes live, they'll hunt us harder. Amara met her gaze, unwavering. I'm already hunted. They prepped a broadcast, rigging the church's old AV system to stream on pirate channels, bypassing Klein's media grip. At dawn, Amara hit send, her voice steady over the feed. I'm Agent Coleman, framed for fighting corruption. Here's the truth. The screen flashed Klein's files, the video's origin, Harlan's cartel ties. Social media ignited. Hashtags like Joa Coleman Truth exploding. Protests roared outside Klein's mansion, crowds smashing gates, chanting Amara's name. News clips showed Harlan rearrested, his face pale as cuffs snapped tight. Klein's office was raided, his council seat stripped. Amara watched from the church, heart soaring. Lena clapped her shoulder, a rare smile breaking. "You shook the city, kid." For a moment, Amara felt free. Her name cleared, her fight alive, the system cracking under her will. The triumph lasted hours. Amara was packing to move, the church's air now 60 degrees when her burner buzzed, an encrypted call. She answered, wary. A voice, cold and clipped, hissed, "You think this ends us? Check your friend." Her stomach dropped. Lena was upstairs securing gear. Amara sprinted, finding the door ajar, candles snuffed. Lena was gone, a laptop open to a live feed. Jaden, bound, bruised, in a concrete room. A masked figure held, a blade to his throat, text crawling, "Surrender, Coleman, or he's meat." Amara's knees buckled, rage and dread colliding. She checked the stream's chat. Public now, thousands watching, comments vicious. "She's a fake, let him die." Her broadcast had rallied supporters, but Klein's machine had hacked it, flipping her truth into a hostage crisis. Another alert hit. Coleman's lies endanger lives. Her face tied to Jaden's plight, slurs flooding anew. Amara grabbed Lena's drive, hands shaking, and ran, the church's walls echoing her panic. Outside, sirens wailed, closing in. She dodged into a storm drain, its air dank, 50 degrees, water sloshing at her ankles. Her burner showed the stream spreading. Protests turned chaotic, some cursing her name, believing the hack. Klein's allies had spun her win, making Jaden's life her fault, her blackness a scapegoat. Harlan's rearrest meant nothing if his network could strike like this. She thought of her mother warning, "They'll take your heart first." Jaden's face, bloodied, was that theft. Her broadcast had cracked Klein's empire, but the cost was her ally, her hope. Amara's jaw tightened, her grip on the drive. Fierce? They wanted her to break, to surrender. She'd burn their world instead, starting with Jaden's rescue, no matter the odds. Amara Coleman's boots crunched on broken glass in an abandoned Atlanta factory. The air stale at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, her heart hammering as she clutched Lena's drive, the last shred of proof against Klein's empire. Jaden's bloodied face from the hacked broadcast burned in her mind. Bound, a blade to his throat, Klein's trap turning her victory into a public crucifixion. The manhunt's lies branded her a liar, her blackness weaponized to justify the hate flooding. Every corner of the city. Harlan's rearrest was dust. His allies had stolen Jaden, hacked her truth, and left her hunted. Her badge was a memory, her trafficking case buried, but Amara was steel, not ash. The kidnapper's stream had a glitch, a factory logo in the sea. Background, one she'd traced to this crumbling site. Saving Jaden was her line in the sand, no matter the cost. She slipped through a rusted gate, gun drawn, shadows her only ally. The factory's guts were a maze of shattered pipes and dangling wires, the air thick with dust and 60 degrees. Amara moved low, ears straining for sound, her bandages itching, under sweat-soaked clothes. A faint whimper guided her to a stairwell, descending into a basement lit by flickering bulbs. There, Jaden tied to a chair, face swollen, two guards pacing with automatics. Her pulse roared, but she waited, counting their steps. One lit a cigarette, the other checked a phone. Now. She lunged, slamming the smoker's head into a wall, his gun clattering. The second swung, but she dodged, snapping his wrist, dropping him with a knee to his gut. Jaden's eyes widened, hope flickering. She cut his ropes, whispering, "Move fast." He nodded, limping as she grabbed the guards' phones, finding texts from Klein's aide. "Hold till Coleman shows, then finish them." They climbed, Amara's gun covering Jaden, her mind racing. Those texts were gold, proof Klein ordered. The snatch. She pocketed a phone, guiding Jaden through the factory's bowels, dodging debris. A door loomed, freedom, but boots thundered behind. More guards, 4, rifles up. Amara shoved Jaden behind a crate, firing twice, dropping one. Bullets tore past, splintering wood, her shoulder grazing a pipe, pain flaring. She returned fire, precise, taking another down. Jayden yanked a lever, dropping a steel gate, buying seconds. They sprinted, bursting into the night, 70 degrees, air sharp with freedom. Amara flagged a cab, shoving Jayden in, barking, "Drive!" The factory shrank, sirens rising, but they were clear. Jayden coughed, alive, muttering, "You're insane." She grinned, blood on her teeth. Insane, but winning. Safe in a motel, its air humid at 75 degrees, Amara cleaned Jayden's wounds, her own cuts screaming. She hacked the guard's phone, finding a file. Klein's cartel deals, signed orders to frame her, linked to Harlan's ledger. Her breath caught. This could end them. She emailed it to Maya, urging, "Drop this now, no delay." Jayden nodded, his voice hoarse. "Blow it wide." By dawn, Maya's outlet unleashed the story. Klein's cartel ties exposed, Agent Coleman vindicated. The files went viral, protests choking Atlanta's streets, crowds chanting Amara's name, signs reading "Justice for Coleman." News showed Klein arrested, his mansion swarmed, Harlan's unit raided. Amara watched, heart pounding, as anchors praised her heroic stand. Jayden squeezed her hand, the motel's TV flickering. She'd saved him, cracked Klein's empire, her. Name was hers again. The dawn broke red, but victory bled fast. Amara was grabbing coffee when her burner pinged. A police alert. Coleman wanted, armed assault. Her jaw dropped. The screen flashed her face tied to the factory fight, now spun as unprovoked. A live feed showed Harlan, out on a technicality, vowing to stop her chaos. Her motel door rattled, cops, SWAT gear glinting. She yanked. Jayden diving through a window, glass biting her palms. Gunfire erupted, a bullet catching Jayden's leg, his scream ripping her gut. She dragged him, blood slick, into an alley, sirens deafening. They hid, her pulse a drum as choppers buzzed overhead. Her burner showed worse. Klein's files were under review, her rescue branded a stunt. Social media turned venomous. Slurs flaring, "She's a terrorist, Jayden's her pawn." Amara's throat tightened, Jayden's blood on her hands. They reached a shed, its air dank, 60 degrees, Jayden pale but alive. Amara bound his wound, her own cuts pulsing. The motel raid wasn't random. Harlan's allies had spun her fight, making Jayden's rescue her crime. Her broadcast, her files had rallied crowds, but the system twisted it, her blackness a scapegoat to justify cuffs. She checked the drive. Klein's orders held, but useless now, drowned by lies. Her mother's voice echoed, "They'll take your wins and call. Them sins." Jayden's pain was that sin, her fight the cost. Harlan's technicality meant his network lived, striking harder. Amara's eyes burned, not with tears, but rage. They wanted her caged, Jayden dead. She'd make them pay, starting with the truth. Izzy. Amara's sacrifice too high when saving Jayden costs her freedom. Comment number 1 if you're rooting for her to keep fighting, then hit like and subscribe to see her claw through. Should she trust the crowds after they flip so fast? Drop a number 1 in the comments if Harlan's lies make you sick, and smash that like button to stay in her corner. Can she rise when the system brands her a villain? Comment number 1 if you believe she's unbreakable, and subscribe to catch her next stand. With Jayden bleeding and Harlan free, what's Amara's next move? Amara Coleman's wrists chafed under cold cuffs. The Atlanta jail cell's air sharp at 55 degrees Fahrenheit, the concrete walls echoing her pulse. Jayden's bloodied leg from the SWAT raid haunted her, his scream a knife in her gut, while the news branded her a terrorist for saving him. Harlan's allies had spun her factory fight, her blackness a bullseye for lies, assault, evidence tampering, chaos they claimed she'd sown. Her badge was a ghost, her trafficking case a distant echo. Locked in this 6x8 cage, she felt Klein's machine tightening, Harlan's technicality a mockery of her pain. But Amara's spine was steel. The cartel files she'd leaked had sparked protests, Klein's arrest, yet her own cuffs told the truth. Justice bent for her race. Her trial loomed, a chance to fight, and she'd claw through, no lawyer, no fear, just truth. The courtroom was a furnace, 80 degrees, packed with reporters, their pens scratching like locusts. Amara stood, uncuffed now, her borrowed suit. Stiff but sharp, representing herself. Trust was a luxury she'd lost. The judge, a greying woman named Ellis, peered over glasses, her gaze neutral. The prosecutor, Vance, a slick Klein ally, opened with venom. Coleman's a rogue, attacking cops, faking evidence to dodge justice. He replayed the doctored video, her planting Harlan's ledger, then the factory assault, lies woven tight. Murmurs rippled. Jurors, mostly white, shifted, eyes hard. Amara's chest tightened, the air thick with bias, her black face a strike before she spoke. But she rose, voice steady, laying out Harlan's ledger, Klein's files, the guards, phone from the factory. They framed me, she said, holding up Lena's drive. Its data projected Klein's orders, cartel cash, her name marked for ruin. This is their crime, not mine. Her words landed, jurors leaning forward, one nodding, a black woman with braided hair. Amara pushed, detailing the street clash, the slurs, the raids, Jaden's blood, all because she dared fight while black. Vance objected, but Ellis allowed it, her pen still. Amara called Maya as a witness, the journalist testifying to Klein's threats, the files' truth. The room buzzed, cameras flashing, as Amara closed. I'm no traitor. I'm proof they fear the truth. The jury deliberated hours, tension a vice. Amara sat, hands clasped, thinking of her mother's marches, her warnings. They'll judge your skin first. The verdict came, acquitted, all charges dropped. Harlan was detained, carted from the courtroom, his glare venomous. Cheers erupted. Protesters outside chanting her name. Amara exhaled, free, her heart soaring. She'd won, cracked the machine, her truth alive. Freedom tasted sweet for minutes. Amara stepped from the courthouse, dusk painting the sky red, 72 degrees. The crowd's roar a shield. She scanned for Jaden, hoping he'd healed, but her burner vibrated, an alert. Coleman linked to cartel ambush. Her blood froze. News vans swarmed, anchors shouting, "Shots fired near courthouse!" Before she could move, tires screeched. A black van skidding close. Masked gunmen leapt out, sniper rifles glinting, firing into the air. Amara dove behind a pillar, screams splitting the night, her gun useless in lockup. Bullets chipped stone, grazing her cheek. Blood warm. She crawled, heart pounding as cops returned fire, chaos swallowing her triumph. The gunmen vanished, leaving panic, but Amara's burner pinged, a text. "You were warned." Her gut twisted. Klein's. Allies, Harlan's shadow striking back. She staggered to a side street, the crowd thinning, sirens deafening. A new broadcast hit. Coleman suspected in witness murder. The anchor claimed she'd killed a man tied to Klein's case, a witness, who never existed, his body staged hours ago. Her acquittal flashed, now captioned, "Rigged by sympathizers." Social media erupted, slurs flaring. She's a murderer. No justice for her kind. Amara's breath hitched, the street spinning. The ambush wasn't random. Her trial win had been bait, luring her into a trap. Harlan's detention meant nothing. His network had rigged her freedom to paint her a killer. She checked her drive. Klein's files held, but useless against this lie. Her mother's voice rang. "They'll rewrite your story." Now, blood on her face, hunted again. Amara felt it, her victory stolen, her blackness a sentence. She ducked into an alley, its air damp, 60 degrees, her cheek stinging, pulse a drum. The city's lights mocked her. Freedom a lie, Jaden's pain her fault. The murder charge was fresh, no warrant yet, but cops would swarm soon. Her acquittal had rallied crowds, but this smear turned them, her race the spark for hate. She thought of Lena, missing, Jaden bleeding, costs of her fight. Harlan's allies weren't done, they'd kill her next or worse, cage her forever. Amara's jaw tightened, her grip on the drive fierce. They wanted her broken, silent. She'd scream louder, expose their core or die swinging, no surrender. Amara Coleman's breath fogged in the pre-dawn chill, 58 degrees Fahrenheit. As she crouched in an Atlanta junkyard, the stench of rust and oil thick in her throat. The cartel sniper ambush still echoed, bullets grazing her cheek, the false murder charge branding her a killer, her blackness twisted into a lie that turned crowds against her. Her courtroom acquittal was a trap, Harlan's allies rigging her freedom to paint her a monster. No badge, no trafficking case, just a stolen drive with Klein's dirt, her last weapon. But Amara's blood burned, not froze. Lena's disappearance, Jaden's wound, her own scars, they fueled her. She needed sanctuary, fighters who'd defy the manhunt. A tip from a protester led her to activists hiding in the city's underbelly, people who cheered her name before the smear. She clutched her burner, its screen cracked, and slipped toward their hideout, praying for a spark. The safe house was a shuttered auto shop in Mechanicsville, its air damp at 55 degrees, smelling of grease and stale coffee. Amara knocked, heart pounding, until a woman, Sonia, mid-30s, locks tied tight, opened the door, eyes wary but warm. Inside, a dozen activists huddled, laptops glowing, walls plastered with protest signs. Amara spilled her truth. Harlan's frame, Klein's cartel, the ambush, the murder lie. Sonia nodded, her voice firm. We've got your back. Klein's burned us too. They shared intel. An ex-cop, Lena's contact, had surfaced, offering recordings of Harlan admitting to Amara's setup. The group rallied, Sonia leading, as Amara met the whistleblower, Tara, in a back room. Tara, grizzled and nervous, played a tape. Harlan's voice cold, detailing the drug plant, the video smear, all to end Coleman. Amara's pulse surged. This could clear her, gut Harlan's core. They worked fast, the shop's air warming to 60 degrees, tension electric. Amara and Sonia rigged a broadcast, tapping pirate streams to dodge Klein's media chokehold. Tara's recordings were gold, but they needed reach. At midnight they aired it, Amara's face hidden, voice raw. This is the truth they buried. Harlan's confession played, synced with Klein's files, the guard's phone texts. Social media detonated, hashtags like Monch Harlan lied trending, protests choking precincts. News broke. Harlan convicted, his unit dismantled, officers cuffed on live TV. Amara's warrant lifted, her name cleared, crowds chanting her courage. Sonia hugged her, the shop alive with cheers. Amara exhaled, bloodied but unbowed, feeling the city shift. She'd cracked their spine, her fight a beacon. The dawn broke grey, victory fleeting. Amara was grabbing water, the shop's air now 65 degrees, when her burner pinged, an alert. Whistleblower found dead. Tara's face flashed, ruled a suicide. Her apartment staged with pills. Amara's stomach plunged, dread rising. Sonia called her over, voice shaking. Check the news. A live feed screamed, Coleman linked to activist bombing. The screen showed the auto shop, her safe house, reduced to rubble, flames licking. Twisted metal, bodies under sheets. Amara's knees buckled, Sonia's hand gripping hers, both staring, numb. The anchor claimed Amara rigged the blast, a terrorist lashing out. A note in the wreckage, aired live, read, You'll never win. Social media turned venomous, slurs flaring. She's a butcher. No mercy for her kind. Her breath caught, the shop's walls fading. Sonia, alive beside her, was one of few spared. They fled, the city's sirens a chorus, 70 degrees outside, Amara's cuts pulsing, her mind reeling. The broadcast had convicted Harlan, but his allies struck back, bombing her allies, pinning it on her blackness to bury her truth. She checked the drive. Klein's files held, but useless against this carnage. News claimed Tara's suicide tied to Amara's pressure, her recordings dismissed as fakes. Protests splintered, some cursing her name, believing the lie. Amara thought of Jaden bleeding, Lena gone, now Sonia's crew slaughtered. Her mother's voice rang, They'll take your people to break you. The rubble's smoke was that theft, her fight the cost. Harlan's conviction meant nothing. His network lived, killing to silence her. Amara's jaw tightened, her grip on Sonia fierce. They wanted her a monster, erased. She'd rise, expose their heart, or burn trying. Amara Coleman's pulse thundered in a derelict Atlanta warehouse, the air heavy at 64 degrees Fahrenheit, her hands gripping Lena's drive, now scratched but alive with Klein's secrets. The safehouse bombing still seared her mind. Sonia's. Crew dead. Tara's staged suicide. The terrorist label pinning Amara as a butcher. Her blackness twisted into a lie that split the city. Harlan's conviction was ash. His allies had slaughtered her allies, framing her to silence her truth. No badge, no trafficking case, just a cracked burner and a will of iron. But Amara burned, not bled. The bombing's note, "You'll never win," was a dare, and she'd answer. Sonia's intel had pointed to a secret meeting of Harlan's masters, led by a DOJ shadow, Grayson. If she could expose him, she'd gut their core. She slipped through the warehouse's broken doors, gun drawn, shadows her shield, ready to end this. The warehouse was a cavern of rusted beams and dripping pipes, its air damp at 58 degrees, smelling of mold and metal. Amara moved low, her cuts from the ambush stinging, her cheeks scar tight. Sonia had stayed behind, nursing wounds, urging caution, but Amara saw no other path. A faint hum led her to a sealed room, voices leaking through. Grayson, mid-50s, voice clipped with 3 suits, their laptops glowing. She rigged her burner to record, catching Grayson's confession. "Coleman's done, the bombing pinned her, but I want her dead. Cartel's ready, Harlan's clean." Her blood roared. This was it. The puppet master tying Harlan Klein. The cartel, her frame-up. She streamed live to a pirate channel, her face hidden, voice raw. "This is Grayson, DOJ, burying me for Klein." The feed showed his files. Her drives proof, bombing orders, smear plans, all signed. The stream exploded. Hashtags like Chuck Grayson exposed flooding online. Protests surging outside DOJ offices. Clips showed Grayson cuffed, his face ashen. Feds swarming his car. Atlanta's streets roared, crowds chanting Amara's name, signs blazing, "Truth wins." News broke. Her terrorist label dropped, murder charge erased, Harlan's network raided. Amara watched from the warehouse, heart pounding. The air now 60 degrees, her burner hot with alerts. Sonia texted, "You did it, sister." Amara grinned, blood and sweat mixing. She'd cracked their heart, cleared her name, turned the city's tide. Grayson's arrest felt final, Harlan's allies scattered, her fight a lighthouse. She slipped out, the warehouse fading, believing, for a moment she'd won, that justice could breathe. The moment shattered at midnight. Amara was crossing a quiet lot, 70 degrees, stars sharp, when her burner buzzed. An alert. Coleman vehicle targeted. Her blood froze. She'd parked a rental sedan nearby, borrowed from Sonia's friend. Sprinting, she saw it. Her car, hood up, wires glinting, a blinking red light. Bomb. Her gut screamed, memories of the safe house's rubble flashing, bodies, smoke, her fault. She dove behind a dumpster, heart hammering, and called Sonia, voice low, "Get clear now." Seconds later, the car ignited, flames licking the sky, shrapnel pinging steel. Amara crawled, ears ringing, safe but shaken, the lot of furnace at 90 degrees. Her burner pinged, a text. Grayson's last gift. Her breath caught, his loyalists still free, striking back. She stumbled to a ditch, its air dank, 55 degrees, her scars pulsing, mind racing. News hit. Coleman escapes car bomb, DOJ probes deepen. But the real blow landed. Her FBI reinstatement was revoked, her badge blacklisted, career dead. The anchor claimed concerns over stability, her face tied to the bombing, slurs. Flaring online, "She's cursed, no place for her." Amara's chest tightened, the ditch's walls closing in. Grayson's cuffs meant nothing if his network could burn her life. Her broadcast had rallied millions, but this bomb twisted it, her blackness a spark for hate. She thought of Tara, dead, Jaden, scarred, Sonia's crew, gone. Her winds bled out. Her mother's voice rang, "They'll take your future last." Now careerless, hunted, Amara felt it. Her triumph gutted, her fight a pyre. But her jaw locked, her grip on the drive fierce. They wanted her erased, silent. She'd scream, expose their roots, or die burning. Amara Coleman's boots sank into the soft earth of a small Georgia town, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, under a late afternoon sun, the air sweet with pine and fresh-cut grass. The Atlanta skyline was a memory, its scars, Harlan's cuffs, Klein's lies, Grayson's bomb, etched into her bones. The car explosion had stripped her badge, blacklisting her from the FBI, her career a smoldering ruin. The terrorist label, the safe house rubble, Jaden's blood, Tara's staged death, all pinned on her blackness, twisted to erase her truth. No trafficking case, no allies, just a battered drive in her pocket, its files useless against a city that half believed she was a monster. But Amara hadn't broken. She'd fled to this quiet place, Elwood. Population 2,000, a dot on no one's map. To breathe, to rebuild. Her hands, scarred from glass and bullets, now turned pages of a notebook, planning a new fight, not with guns but words, mentoring kids who'd never know her war. Yet her heart stayed vigilant. Grayson's last text, his gift, a ghost that wouldn't fade. Elwood was a patchwork of clapboard houses and dusty roads, its diner a hub, where locals swapped stories over pecan pie. Amara rented a one-room cabin, its air cool at 65 degrees, furnished with a creaky bed and a second-hand table. She kept her burner off, her gun hidden under floorboards, her drive locked in a tin box. The town knew her as Mara, a writer, crafting fiction about justice, her past a shadow she didn't share. Days bled into weeks, each sunrise softer than Atlanta's chaos. She volunteered at a youth center, teaching teens to question, to fight with their minds. A girl, Tasha, 16, eyes bright, hung on her stories asking, "How do you keep going? When everyone's against you?" Amara smiled, masking the ache. "You find your why and hold it tight." Her why was them, kids who'd faced the world's teeth, kids she'd arm with truth. Her nights were quieter, the cabin's air dropping. To 60 degrees, crickets her only company. She wrote, pages piling up, Harlan's sneer, Klein's bribes, Grayson's voice confessing in that warehouse. Not for publication, but to anchor her sanity, to prove it wasn't a dream. The news trickled in on a grainy radio. Atlanta's protests, sparked by her broadcasts, had pushed reforms, body cams mandatory, Klein's cronies indicted, Harlan's unit gutted. Grayson's cuffs held, his trial looming, though whispers of his influence lingered. Amara's name was cleared mostly. Some stations still spat venom, calling her a catalyst for chaos, her race a quiet jab. She'd turned the dial, focusing on Tasha's laugh, the kids' debates. Elwood felt like peace, a place to heal, to believe her fight had carved something lasting. Her mother's voice, softer now, echoed, "You plant seeds, even in stone." Amara felt them sprouting. Her heart lighter, her scars a map of survival. That peace held for a month. She was at the youth center, 75 degrees, sweat on her brow as she helped paint a mural, hands in bright colors, reaching up. Tasha sketched beside her, humming, when a delivery truck rolled up, its driver dropping a package at the door. Amara's gut twitched, instincts flaring, but it was addressed to Mara, no return label. She waited till dusk, back in her cabin, the air now 62 degrees, to open it. A plain box, taped tight, heavier than it looked. Her fingers, steady despite the pulse in her throat, peeled it open. Inside, a tape, VHS, old school, unlabeled. Her breath caught. No one used these anymore. She dug out a thrift store player, its hum filling the cabin, and slid the tape in, the screen flickering to life. What she saw froze her blood. Harlan's face filled the frame, not in cuffs, not in a cell, but free, standing in a nondescript room, his smirk sharper than ever. "Coleman," he said, voice low, deliberate, "you thought you'd won. Didn't. You? Locked me up, burned Klein, took Grayson, cute." He leaned closer, eyes glinting. "I'm out. Technicality, favor, doesn't matter. You're not safe, never will be. I'm coming." The screen cut to static, then flared again. Grayson, not cuffed, not jailed, but in a suit, a desert behind him, cartel soldiers at his side. "You stirred the hive, Amara," he said, voice ice. "My friends don't forget. Your little town. We know it. Your kids? We see them." A photo flashed, Tasha at the center, laughing, oblivious. The tape ended, the player clicking off, the cabin's air plunging to 55 degrees, her heart a trapped animal. Amara sat, hands shaking, the tape's weight a boulder. Harlan free, Grayson escaped. Her wins, her broadcasts, the protests, all dust. The reforms, the indictments, felt like props in a play she'd never scripted. Her blackness had been there. Target from the street clash, through every smear, every bomb, and now this. Her sanctuary invaded, Tasha's face a threat. She checked her burner, powering it on, fingers fumbling. No signal, but a cached alert confirmed it. Harlan released. Evidence mishandled. Another. Grayson flees, cartel ties suspected. Social media, glimpsed before the battery died, was a storm. Some cheered Harlan, calling her a fraud, slurs thick. Others mourned her betrayal. Her mother's warning screamed, "They'll take your peace last." Elwood, Tasha, her. Cabin, they'd found it all. Her fight a beacon they'd never forgive. She stood, the cabin's walls too close, her scars itching like warnings. She pulled her gun from the floorboards, its weight grounding her, and checked the clip. Full, cold. Her drive, Klein's files, sat useless. No stream could outrun this. She thought of Jaden, limping, Sonia, grieving. The safe house is dead. Her fight's cost, paid in blood. Atlanta's reforms were real but fragile, and Harlan's freedom mocked them. Grayson's cartel, his soldiers, they'd come for Tasha, for her, to end what she'd started. Her eyes flicked to Tasha's mural sketch, taped to the fridge. Hands reaching. She couldn't run, not now. Elwood was her line, Tasha her why. Her jaw locked, breath steadying, as she tucked the tape away, hiding it deep. They wanted her scared, silent, gone. She'd meet them head-on, a storm of her own. Amara stepped outside, the night air 70 degrees, stars sharp above pines. She walked to the youth center, its mural glowing under floodlights, hands in paint, Tasha's touch clear. She stood, guard gun holstered but ready, her shadow long. The town slept, unaware, but her eyes scanned the dark, every rustle a threat. Harlan's smirk, Grayson's voice. They were out there, their machine alive, her blackness their fuel. She'd fought for truth, paid in pain and won battles, but the war wasn't done. Her mother's words turned, "You don't stop, baby. You rise." Amara's grip tightened, her scars a vow. They'd come for her, for Tasha, for peace. She was ready, eyes blazing, the fight hers to finish, or start anew. Amara Coleman's journey in this gripping tale unveils raw truths about resilience and systemic injustice. Her fight against racist profiling, from Harlan's street assault to Grayson's cartel threats, shows that courage isn't the absence of fear, but defiance in its face. Amara, a black woman wielding her FBI badge, faced relentless smears, slurs on her car, doctored videos, bombs, each aimed to silence her because of her race. Yet she rose, exposing corruption, saving Jaden, sparking reforms, teaching us that one voice can shake empires, even when it trembles. The system's bias shielding Harlan and Klein while hunting Amara reveals how racist structures bend truth to protect power. Her losses, Jaden's blood, Tara's death, her badge, underline that justice demands sacrifice, often unfairly, from those already targeted. Amara's choice to mentor Tasha in Elwood, despite Harlan's return, proves hope isn't naive, but a weapon forged in pain. Her story screams that racist systems thrive on silence, and breaking it even at great cost plants seeds for change. We learn to question narratives, to see past lies that paint the innocent as villains, especially when race is the lens. Amara's final stand, gun in hand, eyes blazing, reminds us the fight isn't won. It's carried past to those like Tasha. What's your stand against injustice? Comment number 1. If Amara's fire inspires you, then like, subscribe, and share to spread her truth. Thank you for joining this journey. May you carry courage like Amara, lighting paths through darkness.